So first of all, yeah, thank you very much for Julian and the CSTB to host our first symposium, CDC symposium, and it's a great pleasure to be here and have the prospect of establishing new research with the CSTB. So talk very briefly about me. For the ones who don't know me, I'm a senior research fellow at the department, Faculty of the Built Environment. I do mainly three things at the moment. I'm the director of a microservice called Design Computation Limited, and I have a knowledge platform called designcomputation.org, and this is a wiki for computational design that I hope it will grow and develop. And I'm one of the directors of the Construction Blockchain Consortium. I'm also the director of the construction work group at the Accord project, which is a consortium for a domain-specific language for computational legal contracts. And my research in general is related to design and choice. So I look at things like artificial intelligence and machine learning, human-computer interaction, computer-supported collaborative design, game theory, and distributed ledger technologies. So the consortium is, I believe, fairly young. I believe we are 2 years and a few months old at the moment. We started very small, only 4 people, and now we have a community of about 2,000 people. And the consortium was originally set up to enable this knowledge transfer in the construction sector, create the conditions for research and development, and also educate and train. And whenever appropriate, we also work with the industry to leverage new intellectual property. So the consortium at the moment is formulated, as you see on this slide. So the academic leaders are Professor Philip Treleaven, Professor Abel Maciel, and myself. We have a central committee, and we're establishing committees in other parts of the world. Our steering committee in the US is very proactive. And now we officially have Julien as the main person here in the steering committee in France. And hopefully this will grow, and we will take on board all the kind of knowledge base and the things we can learn from the CSTB. We have also a growing technical committee, and we're breaking this down into the different domains we're exploring, including AC and BIM, fintech for construction, legal, like a legal research, and computational contracts, construction management, and open source software. We're very excited about the possibilities in relation to open source software and computational contracts. So one of the things we need to talk about when we are describing the consortium is the UCL grant challenges. There are 2 main challenges that are very much of our interest, and they are sustainable cities and transformative technologies. I think blockchain is a link between the two. And we're using this to set up our projects. I think on the previous slide, we have 3 main domains of action and projects we've set up, which are looking to financing and procurement, distributed BIM, and policy and compliance. We're very fortunate to be working with the UK blockchain APPG, and we have Fernando here today. We'll be talking more about that later on. So in terms of a collaboration, we have to look at the wider ecosystem. I think blockchain is only part of the answer, and I think we should zoom out a little bit and think about what is happening in the 4th Industrial Revolution and what stage we are in the 4th Industrial Revolution. So there's a very intrinsic link between the digital and the physical. And we have this situation where there are amazing prospects and opportunities, but also great risk in this connection between the real and the physical. And lots of people studying the fourth industrial revolution, they are warning us this is the fastest and most unpredictable and ubiquitous revolution we've seen. So things like software upgrades, like being delivered to your smart devices, and fake news and so on. This is all things that we have not seen before, and it's happening in a very fast pace. So we have, so I have two pictures missing there. So we have things like social credit, and we see this in China, and it's quite shocking that we can track and make use of the data people generate in order to leverage social opportunities. The other two pictures was some fake news about Hillary Clinton. It's not there. Saying that Bill Clinton had a fight with an alien to save her, which is obviously not true. And a picture of Great Tower catching fire. And what is interesting about that is with the social credit, with all this big data and analytics being run in virtually real time, there is a lot of room for manufacturing opinions, manufacturing consent, and manipulating how populations behave. And this has a very direct impact on our real built environment. So we have lots of systems in place, and when you create a system that has points of failure, this will be reflected in the real world very quickly. Oh. Okay. There you go. So some animations. So to have this wider ecosystem and to observe what is happening, we need to talk about lots of different pieces of technology that we need to kind of weave together. So we have to take in consideration things like cloud computing, concept simulation, computer-supported collaborative work and design, decision-making software, big data, metadata, autonomous robots, programmatic design, which is becoming, it is a very used technology in the design world, in architecture and engineering, but is becoming a major topic in law and how lawyers process their cases. Reality capture, virtualization, management systems, virtual environments, and distributed ledger technology. So I think we need to zoom out a little bit from blockchain and see and try to understand how to put all the different pieces together. So in terms of BIM, for the benefit of people who do not know BIM very, very well, it's about creating a digital prototype, a digital twin of the build environment or the building you're designing. Some people are changing this terminology nowadays, and they are calling it, it's about creating a digital thread that connects with the physical world. And it's about collaboration, parametric modeling, so you can adapt the design to respond to changes. And it's very transactional. It's about exchanging digital objects, digital assets, and assembling a project. But it's also very complex to adopt. There is a very steep learning curve. And it represents a fundamental technology for what we can call construction 4.0. In terms of blockchain research, also for the benefit of people who are not very familiar, it's about data, and it's fundamentally disruptive because it's about how we articulate that data to become distributed and therefore have no downtime if you're running a distributed app. It makes data immutable. It can guarantee provenance of that data, and it also can guarantee or engineer ways to guarantee a purpose for that data. But again, there are some implications, and they are the establishment of a network of value, in essence. It's a cultural change. It's very much about transparency and trust, or at least the opportunity to create a transparent system where people can trust parties they never traded with before. It's there. That opportunity is very much there, but we have to think about how this can be maximized. And it's about accountability and also the modulation of the data for other applications like machine learning, AI, etc. And this brings to the topic of smart legal contracts. So blockchain is a very good option for deploying computational contracts. And computational contracts have the advantage of automate legal processes, such as in a very basic level, payment or digital identity. It's a proactive device, so it's not just a file with a text about the things people have to do in relation to a contract. It's actually computing, and it represents a great resilience for developing this new way to collaborate. It's fully auditable, and you can embed intelligence in those smart contracts. So, but again, is untested. The promise, it has the promise of unforeseen efficiencies in the sector. A little bit like Julian's picture of the mobile phones we would have, or the phones we would have today if we were using the processes we use in construction. So to accelerate that improvement and the efficiencies in the construction sector, one of the key things could be blockchain. And it could potentially eradicate corruption. Maybe this is a little bit of a big claim, but it has this promise. If it cannot eradicate corruption, as lots of people claim, it can at least diminish corruption at a great degree and create this transparent global development. So if you want to get involved, please contact us. We are based at the Bartlett Faculty of the Good Environment. Most of the time in 22 Gordon Street, which is the Faculty of Architecture. And we are here, so please contact us. Leo is also here. He can take your contact details, and we can take it from there. Thank you very much.